Hello, I am Corey Dayanovich, and this is my midterm oral report for SCR 402. And the challenge I had was implementing a bar chart for the data for my project on the neural network. And the issues were that it continued to crash anytime the graphing button was pressed, and this issue would continue throughout the process. That the data did not fit the bar chart as I had first implemented it, that it was just put in to implement one bar at a time, and I did not know I knew what a bar chart was, but I didn't know exactly what a bar chart was after I'd started. And the data was more variable for that bar chart, the way I'd implemented it, which the data isn't one-to-one, so one user would have thousands of outputs instead of just one output, so it didn't fit that way. And the data is needed to be unaltered, so not averaged or anything, and it couldn't be it couldn't be displayed the way I was doing it. So the solutions I came up with were, one, need to research more about bar charts, so exactly what they're using, what parameters they display, when they're used, and so on, and looking at pandas to make sure any implementation I'm missing, variables, methods, anything I could use to display it better. Then I would need to separate the data to be fit better into the bar chart. So take all the users and put those on the X, 1 through like 30, and then put on the Y a single parameter for them to all be measured by. And then also have multiple bars, because since there are more than one output, it would need more than one for it to actually fit in there without losing any data. And then I would create something I call a dummy bar chart, which one it would create the bar chart and then feed in random data, random values based on the NumPy library, and then after that works, I would swap it out and make changes to be able to insert the data properly. So the results were, the bar chart never worked graphing the data for the project. Every solution I did basically failed. It just never did the multiple bars, that idea. Everything I tried putting in, it just never fit. Because like one of the biggest issues is that, yeah, the bar chart was not a good fit for the data set, because it's made for a neural network, so some of the data usually has missing pieces because it's not complete, but it takes that in. And not every user will also have the exact same number of trials. One might have 1,000, the other one might have half. So it would have looked awkward, and thinking about it, looking at the data and how bar charts are implemented, it looked like it would have been illegible. It wouldn't have said anything even if it had worked. It just wasn't a very appropriate fit. So overall, no, I did not end up implementing the bar chart because there was just no solution worked. The data just did not fit in there, and ultimately the bar chart just was not a good fit. There was another one that I found that was actually doing the same thing but better. It was a histogram. Because it's what I implemented beforehand, it just took me a while to sort of like come to that conclusion. So what was what did I learn? What can I do better next time? So during planning phases, especially for graphs, I can determine if the graph is actually like usable or graphable, potentially, and offer any alternatives if I can recognize it. Research more on the graph that I'm doing beforehand, so at least I know what how I'm going to actually approach it beforehand, and then implement based on that, not just like a basic bar chart or any graph, not just bar charts alone. And then also have a far more structured approach to actually solving the problem when issues like this pop up. This was it was a lot more all over the place, maybe ad hoc, where I would deal with it as it came up. So it wasn't like all written down solution came up beforehand. And I think that would cost me a lot more of the time. And also, doing this, I need to apply it to everything, not just the bar charts or chart in general, just any time I solve a problem.